What is up? Welcome back to another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video. My name is D-Free, your host for today's video and all the other videos on the channel. But that being said, earlier today, I guess 13 hours ago, so whenever that was for you, we got the information for Physical God Lead Gotenks. We saw the banner in the game. I didn't too much make a video on it. I haven't been myself lately, to say the least, so I haven't really been, honestly, in much of a hurry to kind of put out videos, but I'm going to try to get a little bit better with May finally being over after today, so we'll see what happens there. If you guys don't know what I mean, it doesn't really matter. Either way, Physical Gotenks is the new God Lead for Super Physical, so let's go ahead and take a look at the card and what he does, and he actually got a pretty big buff, as far as the card goes earlier today as well. So 3 key to the super physical units and 120% up to all stats. 1 key to the extreme physicals, i.e. the cards you would run with cooler, and 1 key and then 50% up to all stats. 120% up innately. The Tech 1 needed a super attack, I believe, so he just naturally gets it. So that's cool, I guess. And for 7 turns, he gets 60% more attack, and he gets 30% down. So, that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at his links. I'm not really going to show the super attack video because for whatever reason, whenever I decide to make videos, it doesn't want to work. But either way, Super Saiyan, Fused Fighter, Over in a Flash, Limit Breaking Form, the Innocence, Budding Warrior, which wasn't here before. I'm trying to think what was there before, but I don't really care either way. Fierce Battle. So, there were changes. Like I said, let's go ahead and take a look at the changes that were made to him that basically changed the way he works and made him better. So the passive was previously 120% up, and for 7 turns, he gets 30% more attack, and he loses 30% of his defense. So they buffed that from 30 to 60, as you see here. And the 12 key multiplier, or modifier, whatever, is still immense. It was always immense. And he inflicted 7% of HP, which if you have a lot of HP, that could actually be a sizable amount, maybe like 20k or something like that. I don't know. But he used to do that to himself whenever you got it, so you tried to avoid it, but now he gets an attack raise. So let me go ahead and dissect this. So I skipped over the super attacks. Immense damage, lowers defense greatly. That's pretty solid there. If you look at the tech card used to lower defense greatly with an extreme modifier on the 12 key super, so they kind of changed it around. The 11 key, so 9 to 10 is that, and it's a Galactic Donut now instead of, the Ghost Kamikaze, which is cool. I like the Galactic Donut. But now, 11 key is immense damage and 1 turn boost to attack by a super large amount, i.e. 100% basically. So that's pretty cool. Desperation attack, 12 key, which is a completely different attack, which is kind of cool too. He gives immense damage and 1 turn attack raise, which generally, based on the wording, equates to 50%. So you're still going for 11. 12 is not a death sentence. I guess that maybe it kind of was before. Not really much of a really, really big deal because Gotenks is still one of the hardest hitters in the game. I think second hardest now. So it's not as big of a deal, but definitely a lot better now. He went from being kind of, of course, still a phenomenal unit either way before the buff. He went from being kind of to being like, damn, this card is probably really freaking good. So that's a good thing about him. But what we're going to do for the second part of the video, by the way, I haven't said so yet. Shout out to the Reddit. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to the Dokkan Reddit. They're easy to find. Sometimes I link them in the description. Sometimes I don't. That's just because I forget. No lie. I'm still, either way, shouting them out. It doesn't really matter. But regardless, cool community. They do a lot of this stuff here. So that being said, this is the card art and all that stuff. I like the art. I think I prefer the pre-Dokkan art, though. But that's just me. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into the team building portion of this. So here we are. And I've got a fun little thing going where I've kind of done this again, where I just threw a bunch of units in there, and we're going to go ahead together and dissect it. So, of course, as a placeholder, we have the Tech Gotenks there. He's basically the same unit. Link-wise, he has 1 separate link, but that's not a big deal. There's so many that it's moving slow. That's pretty funny. So let's go ahead and knock out some of these guys that I don't think would be too much of a help to the team. We're going to knock out, for starters, Thunder Goku. He could be a good unit, but I'm taking him out simply because Vegito Blue wants his counters. That's literally why. Situationally, I guess it depends. You can run him sometimes. Doesn't really particularly matter to me, though. Personally, I don't care for stunners. That being said, we're going ahead and move some of these guys down here. A unit like the Kaioken Goku is really good for his link set and the orb changing, but he's not needed. So we're going to eliminate him from this too, wherever he's at. I don't see him. Oh, he's up here. Bye. Bye bye. All right. So what we have here is we have Ultimate Gohan. He's going to be my next candidate. He's kind of outdated. He only gives like 80% up, I think, with a 30% restriction. He doesn't link very well, so unfortunately, he's getting the boot. It doesn't matter what team you make, though. This is just me giving you guys my thought process. All right, so we've kind of thinned it down a little bit. Now, this is where we get a little bit interesting because if you see, there's a lot of support units in here, and I've kind of made the case several times that it is optimal and very beneficial to run 2 to 3 support units alongside your main hard hitters because that's more beneficial than just running a team full of hard hitters. It's been proven on the Dokkan Reddit numbers-wise. So that being said, we have a lot of them in here, right? We have Pan, we have God Goku, we have Trunks, we have Bardock, and then we have Piccolo, who's kind of here too, which actually Piccolo's going to be my next one to get the boot. It's kind of weird because you can run Piccolo. His defense, honestly, I'm going to say something that may be a bit controversial, which I kind of need numbers to back up, but his defensive passive may, hear me, may wind up being more beneficial to the team than LR Piccolo's flat stat one is. So, need the numbers, but it's highly likely, especially as your units get more improvement through the potential system. But i.e., bye Piccolo, see ya. Taking him out because I'm not going to run him, but you can if you need the defensive versatility. I feel like on this team with that leader buff to defense, Vegito Blue was already with a higher defensive stat, tanking for double and triple and quadruple damage, which doesn't matter. He's not taking any damage. So with that, he becomes basically a lot more godly defensively. So here we have another little breakdown on the scenario. We have a card like Physical Gotenks who is a sealer, and he gets 100% up. So he's going to hit really ridiculously hard on this team. Links really well with the Gotenks. And with the 12 key not being a big deal anymore, you know, you kind of wanted to avoid it when it was doing HP to you, but with it not being a big deal anymore, you're going to add him to the team because his ability to seal only helps you. And he also hits hard. So he's like the hardest hitting sealer, I think, in the game. So we're going to add him. That's fine. We have 3 hard-hitting units there. One of them tanks. One of them seals. We're good to go. So how are we going to formulate a team around them? So once again, since his 12 key is no longer a problem, it doesn't matter that basically on this team he's always going to have it. He's literally always going to be, regardless of rotation, there. And it's good for him. It doesn't stack, but it's good that he still gets an attack boost. It's still immense. So there's not going to be a crazy, ridiculous damage drop-off between 11 and 12 key. So with that in mind, right, we're going to go ahead and add Gohan because Gohan was a unit that was, you know, you always want to run the 40% units if you have them because that's too big of a buff to ignore. But he was probably considered like being something that could be like dropped if that 7% truly mattered to you. So we have 4 units on the team now, and it's starting to look pretty good. Now, one of the wild cards here is this Trunks because he shares like Super Saiyan, the Innocence right now. If he Dokkan Awakens and he gets Fierce Battle and not Formidable Enemy, God, please don't give him that. He could share those 2 links, and Budding Warriors, I'm pretty sure he has that too, which is another 10% link. I'm pretty sure that's in here, and I can't read the kanji. I need to translate it, but I'm too lazy. And he could also have Fierce Battle, and there could be a compelling case for him to be on this team because he gives 70% up or so on a super attack. That could change to 100%. There could be a compelling case for him to be on this team, right? And then you have these, 5 guys, and you can add any one of these guys, and you'd be fine. Or girls, excuse me. There's a couple girls there. But since he doesn't, I'm not going to include him now, but we're going to bookmark him because if he Dokkan Awakens, there, like I said, could be a compelling case for him to make this team. And I would honestly probably consider it. So what do we do from here? We have Goku, we have Trunks, we have Bardock, we have Pan, and then we have 2 hard hitters. So we have 4 supports and 2 hard hitters. I'm going to give the boot to Gohan, the Great Saiyan. He's really good, but he just needs a little bit more oomph to really get him into being on this team, in my eyes at least. I think that they did a good job with rebirthing him. He got a lot better. He got 90%. I think he also has like a 50% stack on the super attack. He also gets the rebirth link, but the rebirth link is the problem here because Fierce Battle would just help him out more as far as damage output goes. I understand them not wanting to give him 100%. That would have been a lot better too, but they did give him a stack, which I can't ignore. But given the current makeup of the team, given the fact that Vegito Blue is going to be doing a ridiculous amount of damage every turn or whatever he's on the field, I'm going to go ahead and kick off Gohan. But he's still a fine option. So another wild card is what's called a Raleigh, because a Raleigh gives 120% up on her super attack. So she's naturally going to be really good. And the problem with a Raleigh, there's a couple of them. She doesn't link particularly well with this team. She does share Fierce Battle in the Innocence with Gotenks and then Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, which is cool. But she doesn't share any like key links. She only has Shocking Speed, which is kind of something you can compensate for if you're running this Gohan and then you run like the Goku or the Bardock. I don't think the Pan or the Trunks give any key, which we'll look at in a moment. You can kind of compensate for that. If you keep her on a rotation, she can hit pretty hard. But there are a couple of key issues with the card damage-wise. Naturally, she doesn't have a very high base attack, so you're going to have to put some orbs into her for her to really start hitting hard. 8,000 attack. She's kind of outdated is the problem. And I think her key multiplier is like 130%. So like they purposely tried to nerf her because she would have popped off as being one of the hardest hitters in the game at that time. I still feel like she could hit for like 700, 800K. I need the exact numbers. In fact, I know she can because she can kind of pop out about 600K when I was running double Vegito Blue super physical with the 40% Gohan on the team. She can do that. So she's a bit of a wild card too. But for the purpose of this, I think that I'm going to just go ahead and eliminate her. If you want to run her, that's perfectly fine. In fact, like I said, she's a good option. But we're going to eliminate her. Okay, so we've kind of dwindled this down a bit. We've dwindled it down. So here's where we start to kind of look at this in a different perspective. I do not need another sealer on the team. Although it could be cool being able to have the enemy perma sealed, basically. Like they're always sealed because you have a sealer every other turn or whatever you're doing. And Bardock is a good unit passive-wise. I'm going to eliminate him. His passive is 2 key and 20... No, that's the leader skill. 2 key and 20% attack. No defense. And he also has a restriction on it. He's a sealer. But sorry, Bardock. Even though you have Fierce Battle, which helps you, I'm going to kick you out. So here we have Trunks, who has Prepare for Battle and Super Saiyan, which links with some of these guys here. Prepare for Battle isn't as big of a deal on the team because you have a 40% unit, although Trunks is going to be a floater either way, so I kind of take that statement back. So it may become something that you'd want. It's kind of weird because if you look at the rotations, right, what are your rotations going to most likely be? They're going to be Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks and Vegito Blue, and then Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks and just Super Saiyan Gotenks most likely. And then everybody else will be in the third slot. So in that third slot, Trunks could be a unit in that third slot that is able to get his super attack off because he shares, Prepare for Battle every other turn that or basically every time he's there, actually, with Vegito Blue and with this Gotenks. It just means that you're forced to put Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks in the first slot and keep Trunks on the last slot because they can't link together adequately for key. But it doesn't really matter. He's not there to be a hard hitter. So in my eyes, I'm going to actually take Trunks off. He's not there to be a hard hitter. He's not going to do very much damage. And what's his buff? He also doesn't have Fierce Battle, which only hurts his case. He has Rebirth instead. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing that he made it this far into the video, though. So passive attack and defense up 25%. No restriction, no key though, so it doesn't really matter. But either way, it's great that he made it this far. But sorry, bye Trunks. So now we have one unit. No, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's actually 6. That is 6. Huh. That is actually a team. But there's 3 supporters and 3 attackers. That's not a bad thing because you'd have 4 attackers with the friend Gotenks. Honestly, that's not bad at all. I guess it kind of becomes whether or not you want to run Super Saiyan God Goku or Bardock, actually. Let's add Bardock back into the mix. Or, let me go ahead and say this. I'm going to add Pan in the team, and I've always favored Pan because she's a really freaking good support unit. If she gets in a position where she has to attack first, Trunks can do this too, by the way. She gets in a position like that, she does have the super attack mechanic that buffs the allies like Super Vegito, Tech Vegito, those guys. So 25%. 30% restriction, so she has to be above 30%, but she offers 30% attack and defense. She also has links that help her out too, like Fierce Battle. She has Kamehameha above that. She has the Innocence in there. She has Saiyan Lineage, which is a 1 key link, but the Gotenks card has it, the Super Saiyan Gotenks. So she's not all bad on the team. And I feel like Pan probably gives the best buffs overall. She doesn't have the Super Saiyan link, so it's kind of you give and take. But I'm going to go ahead and favor Pan because I always kind of have. So you have those 5. And then with this last slot, honestly, what I really want to do is this. I really want to do this. if he gets a rebirth or Dokkan, even if he gets a rebirth, to be honest, he probably is going to wind up being better than Gohan. But if he's not better than Gohan, honestly, Gohan can come into that last slot. Another hard hitter would probably be best there, or you could run one of these two. It doesn't really matter between these two. Bardock is going to link better. He's also going to seal. Super Saiyan God Goku's links are really subpar, but he does have Fierce Battle, which helps him, and he gives 25% attack, but no restriction on that. You see, Bardock has a restriction, but he also seals, so you kind of pick your poison between the two. So anyways, that's it for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section as far as this goes. There are a lot of good options for the team. I'm sorry if I knock somebody off, prematurely. Like, for example, the Stunner Goku, I think a lot of people would probably want him on the team. That's fine. You can include him depending on your preference as a player. This isn't me making a team for everybody. This is me showing you guys my thought process for myself, which you can kind of take something from and learn from. This guy right here is a good option. There's a lot of good, solid options in here. If you're wondering about a unit like this guy right here, Super Saiyan 3, he's just not very good. I mean, his passive is kind of actually really subpar. He's not very good. But there are a lot of solid options. A guy like this Goku here, while he has a kind of passive, he does super attack early. You may find use in that. This Trunks' rebirth up here is pretty self-sufficient. That may help you. That Dokkan Awakening for him. There's a lot of options. Super Physical is probably going to be one of the most damaging teams in the game, which is great. So anyways, oh yeah, by the way, last point. If you did run Arale, I just noticed that Pan and Arale do share Battlefield Diva. So that can be an option too. You can drop Trunks and throw in Arale, which probably would net you more damage. I don't know. And once again, need the numbers, but that's an option. So you have a lot of options. Basically, I'm going to say these four are guaranteed. Then Pan is most likely. And then that last slot, you can decide however you want to play it. So anyways, have an awesome day. And thank you guys for tuning into today's video.